walk you through my styling plan for my model Anna today. Okay, so as you can see in the map above here, I've used a mix of C curl, D curl, and DD curl for this set. So let's take a look at Anna's eye shape in order to really understand why I chose which curls and which lengths for certain areas. So first, let's start from the middle of the eye to the inner corner. I like to use the pupil with the client looking straight ahead to mark the middle of the eye. So as you can see on this side of Anna's eye, the lashes are naturally uplifted. Versus on the outer corner of Anna's eye, the natural lashes are very downturned. So this is a perfect indicator that two unique curls must be used in order to balance the eyes out. So now let's just erase those and just look at her eye shape in general. So she has quite a bit of space between the end of the eye to the outer corner of her head. So her eye is also quite rounded and lifted in the middle. But as said before, downturned not only her natural lashes, but the eye shape as well on that outer corner. So when clients have lots of space out here and a lot of lift in here, we like to create some form of a cat eye finish to really bring the eyes open and out to complement their natural eye shape. But where Anna's unique is that if we did the same curl all the way across her eye, then no matter what, we're still gonna have this downward tilt of the eye. So how do we bring that up? So this is where curl mixing comes in handy. But we're also gonna utilize many different lengths to lift that outer corner of the eye up. So first thing I wanna identify is, where do the eyelashes start tilting pretty far down? I would say somewhere around the middle of the eye. Maybe a little bit before, but we're not worried too much about them, only because the eye is so rounded up here anyways. So no matter what lengths we use, they're going to look longer simply because of the arch of the eye. So how I decided to go about that is, I didn't want to draw a lot of attention from the inner corner to the middle of the eye. So I worked with C curl, as you can see in my map above. I used my 5mm in here, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 all the way across here to the middle of the eye. So now you'll notice that around here, the eye starts tilting down, and quite dramatically and fast. So here's where I have to start playing around with lengths and curls. So in this section right here, I jumped from 9 to 11D. So I'm now using D curl. And why did I use 2mm longer in this area? It's because, well, A, this is my blend section. So we're gonna have a mix of 9C and 11D in this entire area here. So the blend was nice, but I needed to make up for the downturned lashes, the extremeness of those downturned lashes, by jumping up in length and curl. So that is why I chose 11D in that section. And then the eye naturally tilts a good 2mm, maybe even a little bit more here. So I chose to go with 13D curl in this section right here. And since the eye turns down even more on the rest of it, I decided to go 14 and 15 DD in this section to counteract the downturnedness of the natural lashes and the eye. So I really wanted to bump my lengths up in this area to make up for how lifted the middle of the eye was, in order to bring those lashes up to meet the middle of the eye. That was my goal. So I really needed long lengths, but because the lashes are so downturned in this area, I really wanted to bump up my curl as much as I could. And for 14 and 15, I chose DD curl because I knew that was going to give me the most lift. And actually, this is a hack that I absolutely love. I love working with 14 and above in DD curl, even in my D curl sets, because it just offers so much lift. And the higher you go in length, the less curly a lash seems. So no matter what curl you're using, say you're using a C curl and you go into 14 and 15 and 16 or above millimeters, it's always fun to jump up a curl. Like you could use a CC curl for those lengths or a D curl even in a C curl set, and it would blend wonderfully. But because of the extremeness of everything downturned on Anna, I chose to bump up my length to 14 and 15 millimeter. And then on the outer corner, I really wanted to steer clear of long lengths because no matter what, they would have elongated the eye even if it was a severe curl. So to just make sure that that didn't become an issue, I worked with 12D on that outer corner to lift everything up. And it was really important to work with fans that were more narrow in appearance. So I'll just draw that here for you. So a fan like this versus a fan like that. Why? Because this fan is going to offer an open outward direction, even if it is unintentional, versus this fan that is more narrow is going to be much easier to direct and point upward, because again, we're not trying to elongate that outer corner, we're trying to lift it all up instead, like this. So that is how I planned out Anna's set today, and you will notice that I put little red dots along her eyelid. That was my way of mapping. I like to map with the eyes open, just like I've done in this video today. Have your client open their eyes, look completely forward, and then plan your set out. And if you have to use little dots along their eyelid, that is great. Anything that you need to do in order to remember your map, keep it in mind while you're working in order to keep that set consistent and your styling in mind.